Mary Helen Darrow, Women in the Driver's Seat with the Taylor Automotive family. Today we're speaking with the very enthusiastic Dani Fuller, owner of Fuller Art House, who not only shares her love of art within these walls of her gallery, but with the community at large. Let's go talk to this motivational young woman. Hello, we are with Dani Fuller, owner of Fuller Art House in downtown Sylvania. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And could you please tell us a bit about your history and how you came to be owner of the fabulous Fuller Art House, and what was the deciding factor that got you behind the wheel here?
Well, actually, ironically, I don't know if you remember this, Mary Helen, but you were one of the first people I met. I was still living in Chicago at the time. I had started doing a workshop with the River Center Foundation. I was working with patients. I was still living in Chicago at the time, and we were having a lot of fun. And the owner of the foundation, or the president of the foundation at that time, had called me and said, you know, this has really taken off. We're really enjoying the workshop that you're doing with the kids. Would you be willing to transfer from Chicago to Ohio? And I said, absolutely not.
That would be my answer. Yeah.
Yes. But he was very persistent, I'm sorry. And what they did is they actually purchased a home up here on Main Street and converted the back space into a studio, called me again and said, what if it's just for a one-year contract? Come to Sylvania, see what it's about, but wait till you see the studio that we created for you. And it was nice. It had a fireplace, it had lighting, it was gorgeous. So at the time, one-year contract as a creative art director from an artist who was living in the city for so long and working 3 jobs, I thought, you know, this is a great opportunity. Get this on my resume. I'll make the move. I'll come for a year. So that is exactly what I did. I loaded up a box truck. I put the rest in storage in Chicago and was committed to coming here for a year. During that first year that I was here, I was very fortunate to get very involved in the Sylvania community. We have a great Sylvania Arts program here, so I got involved with a lot of other people and just, you know, really started discovering a lot more about myself than I ever knew, because I really didn't know I was that much of a community person. I didn't really get that involved in the city. I didn't get involved in politics. I really didn't get involved in much. And I quickly did. I think one of the funny things that I look back on now is I didn't buy a car. That was number one. Don't buy a car, because then you'll be committed to living here. Just get through this first year without a car. And I did. And I was teased a bit as the pedestrian of Sylvania, Ohio.
I remember that.
Yeah, I rode a bike around. I would ride my bike to work. But one thing I did notice, even in that experience, is not a lot of places to walk around. There aren't a lot of connecting points. So I would fantasize in my head, at some point, I want this to be a walking community. I want more people out walking. I want more people engaged. One of the things that we always talk about is how physically rewarding walking is, how good it is for your body and taking care of yourself. But one thing that I remember most living in Chicago was every day I saw someone new. Every day I got to say hello, and every day I got to smile at someone. That's some mental love right there. And so mentally, what walking can do for a community is 10 times as important as what just walking around does. So those quickly became things that I was thinking about, because I was kind of on an island by myself. And as things started to evolve with the foundation, one of the things that they asked me is, would you be interested in starting a gallery? And I thought, heck no. I'm like, I'm an artist. I don't know anything about business. That's not my area of expertise. I can talk, but I don't really want to own a gallery. Well, at the time, the American Gallery was up for sale on Sylvania Avenue, and Sharon Lang had pushed really hard for us to pursue that idea, to keep the American Gallery going, to keep things alive. We met with Tony Andrews, owner of the gallery, and somehow I got convinced, but I turned the tables a little bit and said, look, if we are going to do this, if we're going to start a gallery, let's take it to Main Street. Let's put it on Main Street. There's already another beautiful fine art gallery, Hudson Gallery, right here. I think this is where we want the action to take place. And I didn't fully feel comfortable coming from Chicago, sitting in a strip mall with a really low ceiling and taking that in. I really wanted to up the ante just a little bit. So in agreement, I would help them get a gallery started if they promised to not re-sign the lease and move it to Main Street. So together we compromised, and that is what we did. We moved the gallery to Main Street.
And here you are.
And here we are. Here we are.
What are a few of the most challenging as well as rewarding aspects of being an owner of an art gallery?
Okay, so rewarding is I'm not only able to represent myself as an artist and be out in the world as an artist, but I get to represent 40, 50 other artists that I'm equally proud of and excited. So every single time I sell a piece, it's not just what it's doing for my business, but it's also the ability to pay an artist for their work. And there's nothing more rewarding than having a voice and getting paid for it. So I get to equally help out other artists all over. What is some of the challenges? During any time, art is probably the lowest on the totem pole of needs. So as your economy shifts, as COVID happens, as other things are going on, you really have to pivot a lot, and you really have to change what you're doing, or try something new, because you're not just going to sell art and make a living. You've got to have other functions and other things going on to kind of balance that out.
And why is art so important to a community, in your opinion?
Oh, take any city anywhere, and it's truly the artists that come in and help build the character of who they are. Your artists are your visionaries. They're your creatives. They are your creative economic drivers. It doesn't take money, it takes minds. And I always say there's some people that will look for money to build up, and then there's Dani, who looks for the creativity to build up. And I think they're both needed at all times, but you need idea generators. You need outside of the box thinkers to really change a community.
Well, thank goodness for the Danis of the world. We know you're so involved in the Sylvania community, but what are some of the things you're most proud of?
I think seeing people walking around our downtown, I think that was a hurdle for me, in terms of that wasn't happening when I originally got here. So seeing the masses of people coming through our downtown on a regular basis, but also on our First Fridays, I would definitely say, Redbird, as co-founder or co-creative person around that's got to be one of our highlights, because without that component and without that community bonding, we wouldn't have the 300 to 500 people that are looking to Sylvania as their place to go on a First Friday, or a community that they want to be a part of. And you're seeing so much growth happen just in a short period of time that, to be a person and a part of that, I couldn't be more excited about something that I've been involved in. It's really a great thing.
Wonderful. And what can we as a community do to support local artists?
Today is a perfect example. We have a plein air festival that's happening all week. We have artists that are out on the streets painting your community. Literally out celebrating your landscapes, your older buildings, your barns. They've come from all over the country: Florida, Canada, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Michigan, and they're here. So go out and say hello, but also think about what art is. Art is somebody's voice. And when you bring a piece of art into your home, you're bringing someone else's story that you get to tell. And that's the coolest thing. It really is. Artists are amazing people, and they're here to tell us something, and we're just got to be ready to listen.
Oh, beautifully said. Thank you so much,
Dani, you're
for
welcome.
Sharing your enthusiasm and passion, and we will hopefully get out there and support our local artists.
I love it. That makes me happy. It's growing, and we couldn't be more proud of that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dani Fuller, for sharing your enthusiasm and reminding us that you really do. You gotta have art. Let's go down the road and see who is next in the driver's seat.